Hey guys, welcome back. This is day 2 of the Imperium Academy. For those who are new here, hello, my name is Theo. I'm an upcoming UK entrepreneur, I hope. And I have 365 days to make £10,000 per month. And yeah, that's about it to it. So today we're going to be looking at 1.2. We finished yesterday's stream, just literally wrapping up 1.1. Hold up, I'll pull up for notes from 1.1 actually. Yeah. So this is everything that we got done on yesterday. And I know it doesn't look like much, but it was just an introduction video, so I wasn't really expecting much to come from it. But yeah. Hold up. I will be 2 seconds. I need to go get some water before I start. Okie dokie, I'm back. It's like 9:30 now, 9:30 p.m. at the time of streaming this. It's on a Sunday night, so I don't know how much we're gonna get done today. Hopefully we get through, it's a 3-hour video, but hopefully we get through 1.2. I think, I have work tomorrow, so I don't know what time I'll do this till, but honestly, I'ma just keep on streaming till it's done. So today, 1.2, let's get it. Oh wait, actually, before we start, I was talking to a few people in the like community, I guess. Just having a look at what everyone's doing, commenting on a few posts. I met this guy, Jacob C. He also live streams. He's streaming the entire academy, just like I am. He's a lot further ahead there. He's he's up to like week 2, I'm pretty sure. So yeah. Like this guy streams, man. 16-hour stream. Yeah. This is we were talking about making a community, like just setting up a community. He has one, but 1 week barrier to entry. Alright, whatever. Anyway, let's get started.
Hey everyone, Charlie Morgan here, and welcome to Elucidatory Axioms. Now, don't be afraid by the complicated looking name of this video. Elucidatory means to essentially bring clarity to and make something clear. And an axiom is a fundamental or a first principle, a base truth. And so what we're going to be doing in this video, at the beginning of this program, is bringing clarity to the truth. And what I'm going to aim to do throughout this video is basically explain the fundamentals of business, the fundamentals of making money, and the fundamentals of the specific business model that you're going to be diving into. Now, when you want to do anything and start a business or really make any change in your life, you have to start with the truth. You have to be able to reason from first principles and have an accurate understanding and gauge of what is actually true. Because if you can't do this and you don't do this, which most people never do, then every single action you take and every single thing you do is going to be out of alignment with the objective nature of the world. And that's going to make your life and your time with this business extremely difficult. So I hope you are ready to have your head blown clean off your body. You should finish this video with a new lease of life and a new understanding as to how reality works, and it should make things very clear. This is how billionaires think, so I'm very excited to share it with you. Now, I'm sure you've noticed the length of this video and you know how long this thing is. I didn't tell you it was going to be easy, all right? I know that you have the shiny object syndrome to, jump straight to the appointment booking module or the sales module, and just try and like rush through this thing and 2 times speed it and just half listen to it whilst you're, doing something else. This video and the videos to come in the foundation and mindset modules are the most important videos. And if you get these right, you can find anything you want to do with sales and appointment booking. So please, maybe stick me on 1.25 speed. Do not watch this in 2 times speed with 5 other tabs open in your phone on your desk. Do not skip this video because it's long. Suffer through it, and I promise you, when you come out the other side, you'll be glad you did. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about something called causal law, making money explained. So I'm actually going to explain like what the hell is money and how do we actually make it. Critical information, lock and key, bending reality, application, consulting explained, 6-figure roadmap, and the quadrant. So there's a lot to cover. And I know that these topics don't seem all that important to you right now. You might be looking at some of these things being like, critical information, causal law, I don't need to know any of this stuff. Just give me the sales script, Charlie, I'll be fine. Well, you won't be fine, okay? As someone who's spent the last 8 years, 9 years getting to grips with the foundations of making money online and this business model, I can tell you it really is just about the foundations. So without further ado, let's get into it. So welcome to Elucidatory Axioms. Once again, elucidatory means to bring clarity to something, and axiom means fundamental. Here we will explore the fundamentals of business and making money so you can become successful beyond your wildest dreams and imagination. We will then explore what it means to be a consultant. So throughout this program, I'm going to refer to the business model that we're using as consulting or consultant. Now, a consultant to me can be a whole range of things. So you might think, okay, I'm a coach or I'm an expert and I sell information, or I'm an agency owner, or I'm a synthesizer or a course seller. There's lots of different terms that we can bucket into consultant. So, when I talk about consultant, I don't want you to think that I'm just referring to someone that, gives like information over Zoom to someone or something like that. Like you can be a coach, agency owner, course seller, expert, synthesizer, like anything that denotes the transfer of information from your brain to someone else's brain or from your brain to someone else's business by doing it for them is a consultant. And we're going to get into what that means later, because you kind of need to understand what this thing is if you actually want to do it properly.
Wait, so it's like a consultant agency? Like an info agency, right?
So
I don't know.
So let's begin with causal law. So causal law is the law that governs the entire universe. It sits at the foundation of all scientific development, all of humanity's progress, and it will also sit at the success of your business venture. Now, the problem is that most people live their lives completely ignorant of causal law, and they suffer pretty immeasurably for it. If you align yourself with causal law, you cannot fail. Now, causal law is a kind of weird thing to start a business training program with, to make money online, like law and cause, like what the hell does that mean? But we need to know it, because you're trying to undergo a change in your life, and the way that you're going to change your life is by changing other people's lives. And what I mean by that is, if you want to make money, well, then you need to help people. And the way you help someone is by, bringing a positive change and impact to their entire existence. As a consultant, that's what we're going to be doing. And I know that right now you might not know who you want to help or what you want to help them do, but this is the fundamental of this business model. And so if you want to undergo positive change for yourself, and if you want to help other people undergo positive change so you can do it for yourself, well, you kind of need to know why things change. So how do things change? And why do things change? And how do things happen? And why do things happen? Well, most people, they go about their lives believing that life just happens. And this might be true of your situation right now. They believe, or maybe you believe, that success is luck or a fluke. They believe that the future and their life is out of their control, and that they are just floating through space and time waiting for life to happen to them. So a lot of people believe that life is just this predetermined journey with a set destination, and they're just in it for the ride. They have no control over their life, and the universe is out to get them, and life just happens. They just ended up where they are right now by luck or fluke, or if they're not happy with where they are right now, then the opposite of those words. And you need to start looking at life like an airport. Now, most people enter the airport of life with no ticket and no idea of what destination they actually want or where they want to fly to. And they walk up to some random check-in desk in this airport of life, and this is like maybe when they're like 18 or something, and then they board a random flight with a random airline, and then they end up in somewhere like Sierra Leone in Africa. And the problem is, after a decade or two of being in Sierra Leone, they kind of wake up a little bit, and they get to like their 30s or 40s, whatever. And then they look around, and then they're like, hang on, wait, why am I in Sierra Leone? I don't want to be in Sierra Leone. Now, I've got nothing against the country, I've never been, but this happens. People just they don't take a grip on life. They just end up getting on some random flight. And this happens with people when you're 18 years old or 19 or whatever, or 17, everyone's asking you what do you want to do with your life? And then you kind of get pushed into maybe a university course, or you just apply for a random job, or you go to a careers center, and it's completely random. You're just I'll just go wherever this airport wants to take me, and that's not a good idea. You need to actually know what you want so you can actually start to make some progress towards a goal. Otherwise, you're going to just walk into some random careers advisor, and they're just going to be like, oh yeah, you could do this. And it might not be suited to your desires or wants or needs or goals or unconscious or personality. And then before you know it, you're in Sierra Leone and you wanted to be in, I don't know, Canada, right? You wanted to be in Toronto. Now, if you don't understand physical law, this is just another word for causal law. I'm just going to leave this here. If you don't understand physical or causal law, then you'll end up in some random metaphorical city in some random metaphorical country. So you need to know how things work and why things happen, because I can tell you life doesn't just happen. Things don't just randomly manifest in your life, and everything happens for a reason. And when people say everything happens for a reason, people think that what that means is this sort of woo-wah kind of coping mechanism if something bad happens. So if you fall out of love with your partner, or if you fall down the stairs and something bad happens to you, or you lose your job, and then everyone's like, oh, don't worry, man, everything happens for a reason. And they think they're comforting you because it's some higher power has got this reason as to why they've put you through this pain. But the truth is that of course it happens for a reason, but it's not the reason that everyone thinks. It's just causal. So the chances are that's where you are now in life. Life is going to take you for one hell of a ride if you let go of the reins and give the universe control of your fate. We need to be in the driver's seat. We need to be walking into that airport knowing where we want to go. If we don't, trouble. The most successful people in the world see life this way. They make life happen and they force reality to change at a moment's notice. But how? Like, how is this possible?
This is kind of the same kind of metaphor as doors don't open by themselves or whatever it is. You know, you gotta open the door yourself. You know. Oh wait, but there's another quote. I think it's by Alex Hormozy, maybe. And it was, I want to look it up now. Give me 2 seconds. Hold up. Oh wait, no, it's not from Alex Hormozy. It's you get in life what you have the courage to ask for. This. I don't know. It's not really relevant to this today, but I just thought of it.
Possible. Like, you might not believe me right now because, you know,
It's like your input that changes your your future, your life, your children's life, you know.
you're like, well, hang on a minute, my life isn't like this. Like, I don't seem to have any control over my existence or my state of being, and I'm just like floating through life and things just happen to me and I'm pretty unlucky and I don't really know why. So like, I don't know, I can't make a change. Like, I've tried, I can't even stick to the gym or go to bed on time. Like, how the hell am I going to force reality to manifest in a different way? Well, the most successful people in the world, they understand cause and effect. Causal law is basically the phenomenon of cause and effect. Now, the entire universe is governed by these two words. So in life, we have a cause and effect. And a cause is basically you doing something or something happening. And the effect is something happening because something happened. And I'm going to give you lots of examples to make this concrete shortly. But the online business space and consulting is no different. And cause and effect is a simple mental model to denote how change happens. So in order for anything to change, right, there has to be a cause, and that cause will create an effect. Now, your goal or what you want is basically an effect. It's like a snapshot of the future that exists, you know, metaphorically speaking. It's a potential outcome. And when we see our goals as effects, which is something that could happen, then what we can do is we can reverse engineer what we have to do to get there. And so if you want $10,000 a month, well, you can understand that as an effect of future potential outcome that you could achieve, a snapshot of the future. And if you know what you want and you know the effect you want, then becoming successful and achieving that goal and seeing that effect manifest is all about just figuring out what causes that to happen and then behaving in that way in the present moment now, consistently over time. And then the effect will happen if you're accurate with this. This is how you make change. So the reason anything ever happens ever is because of cause and effect. Well, nearly everything. It depends on your religious beliefs, right? So, you know, I'm not going to get into this one, but, you know, maybe you don't want to be as, you know, cut and dry and binary as I might be being here. Because if you have religious beliefs in God and stuff, then you might not believe this. But for a lot of it, especially business success, we can define cause and effect. So everything that happens in the observable world is a result of this. Now, I know this sounds too simple to be of value in a training program. You're like, well, duh, like, whatever, Charlie, like, I don't care. Trust me, I'm going somewhere with this, all right? And just, if you let me cook for a couple of hours here, you need to know this to know the deep stuff. So yeah, it might be too simple to be of value to how to make money online, but trust me, it took me 8 years to get to grips with the power of understanding this, and it still blows my mind to this day, okay? So here's a visualizer. So this thing is called Hegel's dialectic, okay? And we're not gonna get into the complexity of Hegel and Hegel, however you pronounce that guy's name. But you know, what we can understand is that life and the universe works with this little diagram. So we have a thesis, which is basically a current state of reality. And we have an antithesis, which is essentially a cause. And if we combine a current state of reality and a cause, then we have something called contact, where one thing comes into contact with another thing, and through time, over time, the contact of those two things will result in or manifest a new thing. And the new thing is basically called the synthesis, which is the effect. So the thesis is just something existing,
Respect to Charlie, just for explaining all of this really quick. Like,
which is
this is a really high quality video.
a subject.
Or from content that I've consumed, I think this is up there with actually like some cool stuff, man. I don't see this everywhere on YouTube, like.
And the antithesis is something else existing, which is the cause. Okay? And I'm going to give you some examples soon, so don't worry. Contact is the two things coming into contact, or the application of the antithesis to the thesis. And when we have this contact, well, we develop a synthesis, which is something new existing. So we go from something and something else to something new. And that's an effect. And there's always time. So that there's a delay between a cause happening and an effect manifesting. And this is known as latency. So there is latency, which basically means delay between cause and effect. So you can have a cause now, and you can apply something new to a certain state of reality to create a new sense of reality, but it usually takes time for that to actually bring about the synthesis. So for example, the thesis for you right now might be that you are broke and that you have no money. And the antithesis could be this, well, it probably will be this program, because this program, this whole thing is going to completely change your life. I can't understate that. Like, anyway, we'll talk about that in the mindset module. So then we've got this program, and you're going to apply this program to your life. If you're smart, if you're paying attention here, and you haven't got more than one tab open, and you're not on your phone, and you're actually listening to me.
Oh wait, yeah, that's one of the things that I was going to talk about at the start. Yesterday he mentioned about I swear I wrote it down, like about disturbance and watching the content with your phone on your desk. Like that's one of the first things that I removed. My phone is not on my desk anymore, and I have two monitors. I have what I'm watching this on, and then I have my notes, which is this. But yeah,
reasonable speed. You're going to take in this information and apply it, and then
hold up.
after some time, well, you'll be rich and you'll be successful if you actually listen. So when the new thing, which is the synthesis, exists, it becomes a new thesis. So what we have here is basically what's called a feedback loop, where if we're going from current state of reality to new state of reality, or from one thing to new thing, then what happens is the new thing eventually becomes the new state of reality, or the new thesis. And so once the synthesis is formed, it now becomes the thesis again. And this is how change happens. So this synthesis loops back around and becomes the thesis so that another period of change can happen. So if you think about how like a species evolves over time, for example, like, as like human beings. So if you believe the, theory that we evolved from apes and everything, like, we have the theory, which is that, the thesis is apes, antithesis is like some evolution and selection. Combine those two things together, you get a human being. But now the human being is the thesis, which needs to, continue to evolve. And there'll be a new, what do you call it? There'll be a new sort of environmental condition that will result in a new synthesis. And that's how evolution happens. Literally anything that comes into being in this world has happened because of this diagram. Your life is simply an aggregate of millions if not more, of these cause and effect relationships. So I know that I know it seems hard to like boil your entire existence down to a diagram with a few circles, but this is really how it works. Anything that's ever happened ever to you or anywhere has happened in accordance with this diagram. Have you ever heard of the quote from Einstein that says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? Well, it's a pretty good quote. It's not actually the definition of insanity, but this is why, if in life you are just combining the same thesis and the same antithesis over and over again, you're going to get the same synthesis. So if you have a bad life, but there's no, that's the thesis, but there's no new antithesis, you're not seeking new information, you're not looking to grow or learn or anything, then it's impossible to have a new synthesis. If you're just going through the same old courses you used to go through, or talking to the same people, or going to the same places, then, well, of course nothing's going to change, because you need to come into contact with something new.
So it's just antithesis, man, I can't even say it, I'm actually stupid, but this red one, antithesis, I think that's how you say it, but this is the stuff that makes the change, no? Wait, no, okay, I wrapped my hand, I have my head wrapped around it now.
Something new to happen. But a lot of people, they don't do this. They kind of just live the same day every day for 80 years and then they die. And then they get to 80, they're like, oh, this was a wild ride, wasn't it? I wonder how the hell this happened. It's like, you don't get it. So here's some examples for you. So a thesis could be your skin, okay? And the antithesis could be the sun, and the contact between the skin and sun could be sunbathing. So we need to have a verb if we're going to do something. We have to do something here. The application, right? The synthesis could then be sunburn, and it could take you 1 hour to get sunburned, okay? So you, sun, sunbathing, sunburn. And then the synthesis, the sunburn is now the thesis. Because now what you might do is have sunburn, and then after sun lotion, and then you put some after sun lotion on your sunburn, and then you're not sunburned anymore. And then you do it again, and it kind of loops around. Thesis, cancer. Okay, so let's say you've got cancer. I hope you don't, of course. And then antithesis could be X-rays. Contact is radiotherapy, which is one of the methods we treat cancer. And the synthesis would hopefully be no cancer. And this might take 2 months or 8 weeks of treatment. So, we can change the state of reality through the application of an antithesis. Thesis, you could be focused. So right now you could be focused on this video, and that could be the current state of a tiny fragment or facet of the entire existence of the natural world and reality. But you could be focused right now. And then the antithesis could be your iPhone. So maybe you've got your phone on your desk if you're being an idiot right now and you can't focus to save your life because you need constant stimulation. And then the contact could be like a notification. So maybe your phone is maybe you're absolutely insane and you've got notifications on. And we'll get to this. I'm not trying to demean you for having notifications on, but business success is just applied focus over time. So if you've got your phone on your desk right now with Snapchat and WhatsApp and Instagram and God forbid TikTok and Twitter all pushing notifications to you, your synthesis.
Guys, I may have to cut the stream short tonight, I can't lie. I gotta get up early tomorrow to work, but I might, to finish this off, to make sure I'm not falling too far behind, I'll probably get up at 5. I'll do a 5:30 to 7:30 stream, probably 2 hours. I've been just incredibly busy today. This is one of these accountability things. I don't want to sound like I'm giving too many excuses or what's going on, but yeah, I'll make up for it tomorrow, actually. But I gotta get to bed, bro. I gotta wake up tomorrow. But anyway, I'm sorry to cut day 2 short, but let's just try bounce back from it on day 3.